Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Civ Show podcast, where we suck so you don't have to. I'm your host, Moisos,
Raising Zozo.
And Nystagmus.
and we're going to talk about a wonderful, wonderful experience that we've all had, which is Sunday's episode of the Civ Show. So there was some drama that happened. And unfortunately for everybody, Zoe didn't. Actually, he didn't win. That's right. No, what am I saying? Nystagmus won.
Democracy.
Nystagmus won because of the democracy.
Served us. Democracy served us.
That was incredible. That was incredible. No problem, dude. No problem. So who did you? I don't even remember. I'll be honest with you. I don't really remember a lot of what happened on Sunday. So much happened this week with our solo streams and with our like challenge leagues and stuff like that. Who did you play?
I was Babylon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
now
it was like one of those situations like the week before where clearly I was dominating in every regard that mattered.
The week before, I was dominating it. Thank you very much. I don't know what you're talking
democracy, the wonders of democracy.
I know.
So Nystagmus won because the viewers weren't sure of what his strategy was, and they liked that. So democracy won the day. I was Babylon, and I wasn't even really, I think, using them properly. Like, the more I've looked into Babylon, like, most players double down on the science. They don't, like,
Really?
I was just like, yeah, apparently
That's not
doubling
what I
down on the
know
science.
of. Okay.
I after the fact, I went and read, like, strategy guides, and it's like, yeah, like you, if you double down on the science, then you become super science.
Oh.
So you are able to end, which makes sense. Especially because I guess a lot of the great scientists are just triggers, right? So if you can get some of those triggering scientists, you're going to be like just exploding through. I did not double down on science. I think I built maybe one, possibly two campuses. So I played the, kind of the production wonder game. I just built lots of wonders and I just had fun. But then you declared war on me at 10, as should be the case at every Civ show. Unfortunately, I had steel.
I know. The worst.
And
how did you get steel? How did you get steel?
So I ended up, I think it was an engineer that gave me the trigger for steel. It was an engineer, or it might have even been a merch. Oh no, that's right. It was random tech that I got the trigger for. So I think it was a great scientist or something like that.
Disgusting.
And it happened to be steel. So pretty much you had to go after city states. That was the only damage you could do to me. I had planes. I was shooting you with planes.
Yeah.
And you're like, you have planes? Like,
that was when I went
planes?
to war with you, when I had to go, when you had planes. That was like, okay, like he's got what I called it, the nuke X, the nuke express.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The delivery system. You had the delivery system in place. They were gonna come out eventually, I feel. And I was trying to rally the troops and be like, Nystagmus, listen, we need to take him down because he's going to win. But instead, Nystagmus, what did you do?
I didn't do anything. My whole game plan was just for you guys to fight, and then I would just catch up in science.
Sorry, Nystagmus?
Sorry.
My goal was just to let you guys fight and try to catch up in science and go for the science victory. To be fair, though, I couldn't help you even if I wanted to.
A science victory in a 4-hour? I would be very impressed if you pulled that off.
I was going to try to make the case, because we do that sometimes, right? Where I can see, like, yeah, you're like winning right now, but like I'm so far ahead in science and production that I'll probably win the science victory. And if I'm ahead in science, and his like tech wouldn't hurt me, right?
Oh, you mean make the case to like play next week?
Or make the case that he won.
Or make the case. I see. Won. That's right.
Okay. So what was like? What happened to you over there in Germany? We all each had our own island. We played on a tilted axis. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, tilted
axis.
Yeah. Yes, and we all had our own island. So what happened to Germany over there on the west side of the world?
I had like a few volcanoes on that island, and we're playing apocalypse mode. So I had about 3 or 4 colossal eruptions in a row. And then I had a few volcanoes on that island, and we're playing apocalypse mode. So I had about 3 or 4 colossal eruptions in a row. And then I had a few volcanoes on that island, and we're playing apocalypse mode. So I had And so when I tried to finally reach out and get ahead in science, all my campuses were flattened. And so I spent like a good 2 hours just repairing from that, because it happened like one after the other, and one volcano erupted twice.
Didn't we learn to not build campuses next to, or any district next to volcanoes in
It
apocalypse
was
mode?
2 tiles away. What do you want me to do? Right? Like, it was a colossal eruption.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair.
I didn't put the campuses right next to the volcano. It was like 2 tiles away from the volcano, but it was still damaged by them. And because I was still technically on Zoe's continent, and we learned this. I was wondering why this happened. We learned this when I was watching some other people play the Challenge League. I can't remember whose stream it was. I think it was Sarge's. But if someone on your continent has a really high level of tech, the barbarians tech up too. And so
Oh,
I
it's
was like
continent
fighting.
based. I thought it was
Yeah,
world based.
no, it's continent based
Oh,
apparently.
interesting. Okay.
And so the barbarians on my northern border were like out teching me, and I had to, and they were like frigates and like battleships and stuff that were like taking
What?
pot shots at my cities. Yeah. So I had some problems going on. So um, Germany was dealing with stuff. So stuff was going on, right? So
Well,
um,
yeah. Well, over in my island with Phoenicia, I settled a lot of cities on the coastline. As Phoenicia, you want to have a lot of coast. Your special building is a harbor. The Kothon, I think it's called. Basically, your units heal in one turn. It's a really good ability. I was actually using it a lot when I was at war with Zoe. I had a base kind of close to his island. I would go to that base, heal for one turn, and then go back. He eventually figured it out. He then sent like 5 battleships over there, and I had no response. But considering that war, even before that, I think I've learned a few things about city building for that game. One, I like harbors, but as much as I like harbors, I can't settle all of my cities on the coastline, because then I restrict myself to not having district adjacencies. Because if I'm going to say I am going to guarantee myself a harbor, right? That's one district. Then I need 4 population. Harbors are very good. They give you housing, they give you food. That's great. They give you a trade route. Awesome, right? But then I have to worry about all my other districts. Where am I going to put my campus? Where am I going to put my commercial hub if I take a commercial hub? But a commercial hub only makes sense while having a harbor if you have owls. Where am I going to put my holy site? Where am I going to put my industrial zone? And that's where I struggled. I couldn't find places to put all of these other districts, and I really only had all of my harbors online. And so that's kind of why I went into the path of war, because I didn't have another choice. I know I didn't have the science, I didn't have the culture. My production was okay, just pair it up with the plus 100% production to naval units, and that was basically why I was producing so many frigates, so many caravels, which ended up being useless, because as soon as I got frigates, he had steel, which Babylon things, just Babylon things, by the way.
Babylon thing.
That was
Thing.
yeah, that was my kind of lesson learned from last week. And then Zoe, how did you play Babylon this time, and would you have done it differently?
Well, I think this is the second time that I'd been Babylon, and I don't know if I'd been them on the show. Maybe I won them on the
I think
show.
Nystagmus has been them every time so far.
Maybe. I was still sort of figuring them out. I don't think I played them obviously as well as I could have, but like I think I did a pretty good job. My production was ridiculous. Like my Babylon,
what caused that?
I had I used adjacency bonuses. It was a big city. And I think I had like a lot of trade routes coming from it. I was at like 100 production. I may have built it had a factory and all that stuff early. I had a factory. I think I had industrialization. I want to say before AD hit. I think like it was pretty silly the technology like that I got, and like but there were branches that it was like, oh, this is impossible,
Sorry,
build 2 forts.
we gotta nerf Babylon.
I well, like
There's a
I
couple
am
of things
curious.
that make
I
them
am
good.
curious to see like if you guys ever be Babylon. You know, if Moy was Babylon, he'd use them properly, and you know how dangerous would that be? So
Nope.
I think I represented them pretty good, but like I got stuck at one point where like so for instance, I couldn't get field cannons and down that path, which is there's a bunch of stuff down that path, but I had refinery, you know, so I had oil. So, but I couldn't necessarily reach aluminum. That was the big one.
Oh.
Radio was very blocked off to me. So yeah, I could build fighters, but I didn't have aluminum, so I had biplanes. And biplanes kind of suck. Like they're not that great. Mind you, planes have gotten a lot better, but so I think I did really good for city building. I did great for wonder building.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I was building wonders up the yin yang. Like I had all sorts of wonders. Like the Stagmus took a couple, but like I don't think I actually any of the ones that I sought to start building, I built. And I was Hermetic Order, I believe, right? Did I go
Really?
Hermetic Order? Did I go
You
Owls of Minerva? I
No,
can't
I don't
remember
think you
what I
went
did.
owls because I remember I was threatening you like, don't take these city states because I'm owls, right? That was like it
No,
was a
I did
heartless threat.
vampires. I did
Yeah, you did
Oh,
vampires.
yes, you
You did
That's why I
vampire.
had the crazy production because
Ah,
I
this
had my
explains
castles
everything.
all over the place. That's right.
Okay.
So and that city was huge. That was a Babylon was a tall, tall city. So yeah, like it was kind of silly though. My technology, like I was like I had one practice game before we played, and I was like, oh my god, I can get this so fast. Like slingers to archers to you know, and before you know it, to crossbowmen, and now I have cannons. You
Yep.
know, like boom, I have cannons. So um, I think I played them pretty well.
Oh, I think we lost him. Yeah, we lost him. He thinks he played them very well. I actually think he played them well too. I think he hit his stride. Okay, never mind. You can keep going now. Keep going.
Yeah. So I think I played them pretty good. I think you know, I'm glad you attacked me. I was like laughing in my head. I'm like, oh
If you didn't have
like
steel, that would have
little
that changed everything.
little Moy,
Like the
little
random
Moy.
technology you got from a great scientist happened to be steel, and it happened to
Maybe,
be like 3 turns before I went to war with you. Like, what are the
maybe,
odds?
but
What are
like
the
I could
odds?
build battleships though, right?
Yeah, but
I
I was
battleships
killing your
still.
battleships, right? I was dealing
You
with your
were,
I killed like
you were.
four battleships. I think. Like
I was,
I was doing
but
okay.
once I got Venetian Arsenal though, like I think the
Yeah,
issue would
but
have been you would have just taken to raise the cities, right? You wouldn't
yes,
have been trying to
exactly.
take them
Yeah.
over.
So I would have raised the
Um,
city that Venetian Arsenal was in,
but
right?
like I had
Because
steel a few turns before you attacked me. Like it wasn't like
I
and
said
like
the same thing. Yes.
it was a technology I was researching, but because I had no science, I was a long way away. You know, I think I had when you declared war. I think was when I got it. I was 18 turns away. So
Oh,
you
that's
declared
so much
war
time,
a
man.
few
Oh
turns
my
later.
gosh.
But you declared war. I think I would have been 10 turns away when you declared war. But yeah, that would have you would have had some time. However, you know, I don't know. I had the I don't know what I would. I had tons of artillery. I
Which
had
comes from
tons of
steel.
well, I had it all, so I don't know. Um, it wasn't that hard to get. It was just a click of the mouse, and I got it.
Shut your mouth right now, dude. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's just so easy. You know, I just flipped a coin and I got it. Look at that.
Well,
Heads every time.
the one
Every
thing,
time.
the fighters though, if I had gone with fighters instead of having steel, they were one-shotting your boats. Like your caravels were
Yeah,
falling one shot.
well, yeah,
To a
the
fighter.
biplanes, they're strong against boats. Yeah, I will
Yeah,
admit.
old
Yeah,
boats. They're strong against old boats.
they weren't old to the world, just old to you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But that was the fun thing. Like you had the advantage. You had the military advantage.
Yeah.
And I
No,
had the
like
technology, but I
I,
didn't have
I, as
troops.
a spectator of that battle, I felt like
Boop.
Moy was fighting
Hey, Sarge.
Martians.
I
He was fighting
was
Martians.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was. Advanced
yeah.
technology, man. It's tough. That's why science is king in this game. If you're ahead in science, you will not lose. Like if you're way ahead in science, you will not lose a game. It's almost
But
impossible.
Babylon does this other weird thing though, because like even if you're spiking, right, it takes a little while to pull away in science. the traditional method, at least, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Babylon just like races out in front. It's almost like, hey man, I can run really fast, but I can also run faster if I have a jetpack on my back, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And by
it's
the way,
the
that was a
pure
Eureka for jet power, and now I have jets, and now I can bomb you from.
yeah.
And it's 1200 BC, and I have nukes.
Yeah.
It was the obscure ones too that I'd be like, well, okay, I got rifling
Like,
because you know
I'm not
that's easy
saying
to get.
that aliens built the Babylonian civilization, but it was
But
aliens.
it was aliens. Clearly, it was aliens. The one thing I will say for Babylon is they are so fun to play. They really are fun to play. It's like starting beside like an amazing natural wonder, and you know, with all the amazing, you know, amenities you could want. Like that's Babylon, and they are very truly entertaining. Like I can't. If you're on your own, next time you're just playing some Civ, try Babylon out. You'll be like, wow, this is cool. How far ahead I am of everybody else.
Oh wow,
And
look
I
how I'm
didn't
just
play them right
stomping
either.
on everybody. Everyone's just toys
Everybody.
to me.
I think I should have built campuses earlier. I think I should have focused a little more on getting great scientists. Um, what really helped me out though is when I built once I built the great library, uh, and because it was because when you guys were using your great scientists, I was getting things. I didn't know the great library did that. I thought it just gave you triggers for sciences, right?
We've been telling you
Um,
that since the
Again,
start.
I'm
So
ignoring that
Yeah,
entire.
the
I'm
the
mooting
great
it
library
because
was like
that
is
was
like
a
clutch for Babylon because
miscommunication.
it OPs them so much, right?
It
Like
had nothing to do. It was a miscommunication. I got the wrong term that you were using. I got it
is
mixed
it a
up.
boost or is it a Eureka
Eureka, a
or is it
Eureka. I thought
inspiration?
by boost, I
Um,
thought you just meant like you get a plus 20% bonus to science. That's what you meant by boost. That is
oh.
the crux of the frustration I have. Why it's still being brought up is that it was just a term thing, and when you were saying it, I was like, how can you possibly think this? And it was just a term, so it had nothing to do. Okay, but I've never built the great library because usually I find when you play the computer, they build it, or you guys build it. So I never
I never
prioritize
built
the
it. I never
library.
built a great
Well, I
library.
didn't realize that it had the every time. I think it's a civic boost you get every time
What?
somebody else. I think.
No,
Let
no,
me
okay.
look
Whoa,
it up.
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. I believe with like 75% certainty, which is still a B, that it's whenever someone uses a great scientist,
Great
you
scientist.
get a Eureka, not a civic. So
Okay.
somebody in the chat right now, if you're not watching us live on twitch.tv, if you're listening
receive
to us on
a
Spotify,
random tech boost after another player recruits a great scientist.
boom.
Okay.
There you
Also,
go.
if you build it, you get all the ancient and classical era
So
technologies as Babylon because you get a
that
boost for all of
so
them.
that's what's
And
great.
so
That's
So
what it
much.
was. That was what you guys gave me steel. You guys gave me because I couldn't remember what it was. It was you guys that gave me steel. So
Damn
one
it.
of you used a great scientist. So I guess what you guys needed to do is claim the great science and then not use it. Because that's right. Because I was like, where did I get this from? I was like, I didn't have any great scientists. I don't know where I got this from. I did get the engineer that gave me computers. I had no clue where I got it from. So it was one of you. So there's the irony for you. One of you used a great scientist around the same time that I got steel, and that gave me steel. So thank you to whoever used that great scientist. You really helped me out.
I think that was
And yeah, obviously, great library is great for Babylon. Of course it is. Of course
I
it
think that
is.
was nystagmus because I legitimately don't think I built one campus in that whole game.
Right.
My city building was terrible that game, and I'm very very ashamed of that.
I was a bit insulted. Like across the harbor from me, you had that beautiful little wonder, making natural wonder, and you didn't build a city anywhere near it. You got 50%
I
production
did.
off.
No, I had
Anyone?
Petiti. I had Petiti. I didn't have that.
No, you didn't. Petiti is a different one. No, it's Kelkea or
I
whatever.
didn't have that.
No, you didn't.
Illicat?
I took it. I took it. It was so that little crap city that I built on your mainland. that was like my ring, my moral victory.
Right. Yeah.
So I built it, and I built it near that, and like didn't matter by that time. But I was like, oh, like this, and that whole area, the whole region was like, this
I
is
know,
great.
I know, I know. That was my
I didn't.
downfall. I didn't get like. I'm so ashamed. I went north, right? I settled north, so the whole eastern coast was all settled, right? But I went north because that's where Petiti was, and I was gonna keep. I was basically still going like north. I didn't build enough settlers. I didn't get enough districts down. I played a terrible game. My game was like, oh, get harbors down, get free inquiry. That's my science. So my early game was really strong, but then I fell flat by the time the mid game came around. I don't know how to transition a naval civ to mid game. That's my biggest weakness, I think, right now. As much as I like naval civs, I don't know how to transition them to a mid game, other than domination. But then you got steel, so it didn't matter. It just didn't matter.
Right. Thanks to one of you, I got steel. The great library does reveal the great steel. You know what though? That game made me like. I love playing us, but I do miss having a guest.
Yeah, we should have guests again.
We should plan that soon. Or even just like randomly like someone that's in the stream right now be like, well, thanks for coming today. You get to be our guest. Like, I think we should do maybe one more round of just us. But yeah, I think I really enjoyed the dynamic of having it, especially when the Nystagmus beat up the guest. That's my favorite part. Whenever that would happen. Poor foibles.
Yeah, but then he came back and he crushed us, right? As Russia. Crushed
but
us.
he chose like, I'm going to choose this scenario and I'm going to be Russia and let me show them how it's done. It's like,
and then wasn't I like I was his best friend in that game?
Because you felt guilty.
I didn't feel guilty.
Yeah, that game, I'm sure you didn't feel guilty. Yeah, because you're his best
game, guys. I don't know why you guys are taking it all so personally.
Of course.
Game. Like, I like how everyone's like always like, oh, poor foibles and stuff like that. Zoe's like eliminated you, and both have eliminated me almost nearly from the game. And like, so the last game when we played at the Onspot, like immediately I lost my capital, and I had to like build a city randomly somewhere, and just hang out and build 2 cities.
I once nearly eliminated you, like, and that was like season 1.
No, you must really not remember that game, do you? I was Korea.
I was Coop. Yeah, I was Coupe. You don't remember?
And you were Scythia. You were Scythia.
Yeah.
I hated that game. Oh, that was the worst game ever. I remember that game. Yeah, I eliminated you. I feel like James. I feel like
Onspot told me like randomly build a settler and just like sail it off somewhere else, and then when we took my capital, I can settle it and I wouldn't lose like loyalty because I didn't have a capital anymore.
Rick James. That's where I felt like there. Rick James from the Chappelle Show. Like, I didn't mess up his couch. He's lying about it. Yeah, I messed up his couch. I didn't take your cities out. Yeah, I took your cities. I do remember that. And then Onspot locked me in, and I had the worst. That was the worst. I never want to be Scythia again, ever again. I think if we ever do a random and I get Scythia, I'm like, no, I want to redraw. Please, let's redraw. That's such a boring civ.
That game makes me not want to play Korea. It's too much pressure because if you don't do well, everyone just gets mad at you, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't meet your expectations.
You did like really bad though. Like,
I know. You did. Don't remind me. I know.
That was so. I was like, I'd never been so disappointed to have an ally. Like, it was like, and I was just like, anything. I don't care, horsemen. Send horsemen. What are you? How do I have better science than you? You're Korea. What's going on here?
Barbarians was what happened. There was too many barbarians. So, okay, back to that game. There were no city-states that spawned near me, right? So a barbarian encampment spawned pretty often, right? Because the way they spawn, if no one has vision on it, it spawns a barbarian camp. So I had no city-states near me to clear the barbarian camps. I had no vision of the entire half of my map, which spawned more barbarian camps. And then I couldn't deal with the ones that I currently had. So just more and more and more and more and more piled on. It was hard.
Have you heard of scouts?
I've heard of them. I don't know what they are, though. Can you please explain? I don't know what they are, but let's move on to the next topic here, which is just the Civ 6 Challenge league. We've all have now had at least 100 turns into this with our solo streams. If you're not aware, we now stream solo for every Monday. We have Nystagmus, afternoon tea with Nystagmus. Tuesday we have good morning amenities with Zoe, and Wednesdays we have Moy Sauce at night. Let's talk about that. How did you guys feel about the challenge so far? Maybe we'll start with Nystagmus.
No, I'm doing it again on Monday. That game. No, that was not fair.
So I heard you got eliminated.
I got eliminated.
Yeah.
I got eliminated.
What happened to you, man?
If you keep watching it past 100 turns, because I know you're gonna make the video, but like I got eliminated about like turn 110 or something like that.
Okay. Who took you out? What happened?
So I was playing, and the hint was, kill China. So I tried to comply with that hint. After I met China, I got Arthur, and made a bunch of questy knights, and then I levied an army. I levied a city-states army. I razed one of China's cities to the ground, but then he built like the Great Wall, and so that like actually does really good at stopping like your units, because it gives a lot of protective bonus. I had to stop. I declared peace. Victoria showed up on my continent with like, and she was friends with me. She was the only one that was a smiley face, by the way, with me. Showed up with a whole army on my continent, then randomly declared war on me and took my capital immediately.
Oh wow!
Did that, and then because she declared war on me, Mexico City declared war on me too, because she was Caesarian of them.
Yeah.
And they had like 5 warriors, and I just settled a city just south of them, and I didn't have any units there, and so they raised my city.
Oh man.
And so I only had 1 city left, and it was losing loyalty. And so it was losing loyalty. I had the card, I had a garrison unit, I had a governor. I still lost loyalty, and I lost it to loyalty, and then I lost the game.
Wow. That is like the saddest story ever.
I have such a different like experience with everyone that you just mentioned. Zoe, how was your game?
I ended up playing a little past because I think like I'm gonna start the stream at 9 and go to noon, because I think I want a solid 3 hours. So I think I started at 10 and I went till like 1. So yeah, good morning amenities. I was wired that day because I had like a pot of coffee, my Neapolitan. I've got a bunch of new flavors on the way. I hope they arrive.
Nice.
I'm gonna feature different flavors. I'm just gonna talk about the flavors of coffee and not answer your question. So I had such a crazily different experience. Like so I was amazed somehow, like, and it was on turn like much later. For Pantheon, somehow I got religious settlement. So I went Hermetic Order right away because I love the Hermetic Order now. It's like my new.
What? Wow.
Yeah, I love them. After my, I think it's because of my Raising Review, the Redemption series. I played it so much. First with the Maya, which was like really hard, but then I tried them with Canada, and I had like a really fun time. And now if I get an early Natural Wonder, and it's just like, yeah, it's a gamble, but that major adjacency bonus had to just be conveniently like in an excellent spot where I'm getting like +5 or +10 sometimes, was my highest with Canada.
Wow.
+10 holy site, so
but what about this game? What about
I went Hermetic Order. So I went Hermetic Order. And it was obvious. I think you went Hermetic Order too, right?
I did, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
And it, obviously not as impressive with the ley lines, but yeah, I got religious settlement. So I got 2 cities at the same time. And my first city that I was going to build, I was like, you know what? I'm Scotland. There were certain wonders I wanted. I knew that I wanted the Temple of Artemis, and I knew that I wanted Oracle. I'm like, I'm gonna get these ones.
Those are 2 good ones for Scotland. Okay, I respect that.
So I went. This was the big difference from you and me, Moy. I went for the closest I could find to build that was elephant or ivory. And ivory, there's that mountain range, Ivory, there's
Oh,
there's a mountain range between us and London. Okay,
yeah.
London's like up here, and we were down there. So I went through and I built a settlement there beside the Ivory. So I kind of forward settled towards England in the north, and then I forward settled towards China in the south. So we had, I think,
Huh.
approximately the same for our southern city where we ended up building on that river there, but close enough to the natural wonder that we could, benefit from the adjacency bonus.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was like the big difference I think between us. I ended up having quite the little empire, like a tight little empire. I did go and declare war on China. I took Arthur. So I had Arthur and
Okay.
questing knights.
Yeah,
And
that plan didn't work for me.
it worked. It allowed me to retake. They took a city state. So
Which one? The
I was
Western one?
yeah,
Bologna?
they took Bologna,
Okay.
and which is funny. My relationship with Bologna was very different. You had war with Bologna, and they surrounded your capital, brought it to zero.
More,
Luckily, they couldn't take
more.
it.
I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll
Sorry,
get there.
sorry, sorry. So I had a very good relate, but then China came and took it out, and I thought that maybe I could get War of Liberation, so I waited until I got defensive pack tactics, but I couldn't. You can't War of Liber. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get War of Liberation, and I poised all my troops, and I waited for it, and then I couldn't do it for taking a city state.
Hmm.
So I retook that and gave it freedom, and then I turned the army towards China, and I was only able to take one city. So the big difference is you ended up doing one thing I did not do at all. I didn't really go into China that much, but I had a nice tight empire.
Okay.
So I had four good cities, and then a couple outskirt cities, but four like tight good cities, and they were well developed. Like I built builders, I was making them, I was building wonders. My army wasn't too great, so when we left off, I think I was on turn 130 or something like that. And I was in that position now that my empire was like not a whole lot of troops, but like a very solid empire, good production, good amenities. People were happy. So yeah, I'm still alive. So next
Okay.
Tuesday I will continue that. I think that's the plan, right? We'll do a
Yep.
part
Yep.
two.
Yep.
So that's me.
So
Everyone else I'm at peace with.
my game was wacky, man. Like I had to confirm with other people if the AI did the same thing in their games because my I don't know if it had a malfunction. I don't know if it just like crapped out on itself essentially. So you know how Nystagmus, you said Victoria went to war with you and took your capital, correct? Did you watch my
Yeah.
game at all or no?
So I came out. I know that Victoria, like for whatever reason, like settled a city on the other side of your empire and lost it to loyalty like
I
immediately.
just like yeah. Okay.
now,
So here.
now the AI has done that to me before in other games.
Okay.
I had one specific part where me and Canada were on the same continent, and I told VektorKat about this in his pod at one point, and where they asked me for open borders, moved us. They only had two cities at this point. They asked me for open borders to get past me, moved a settler by itself all the way across my empire to the other end of the island, settled Vancouver, and then it immediately loyalty flipped to me. I don't know why they did it, but they did it, and the AI has been known to do it. So, or I've seen them do it before.
So this is what happened in my game. So I don't know if you guys had chat try to help you, but I had chat try to help me. But I was kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to you because this is like meant to be like my choices versus your choices versus your choices, right? So like I was looking at it, but I'm like I see where you're coming from. That's probably a good idea, but my gut's telling me this, so I decided this. So one of the things that they were telling me, so Groovy Feet, he was like, go settle the city next to Mexico City and get that chokehold, right? Like get that one mountain tile pass, right? So I was going to, but then my gut told me no, because I want to go towards China and I want to have a city, basically if you think of like a warp gate in a pylon. I wanted to build a pylon next to China so that I can produce units out of it and just reinforce my forces. Right, that was the plan. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go ahead and put that city north and create the chokehold. I'm gonna go south and put this city near China. I did that, and then this little measly settler from Victoria comes into my land, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Right? I'm like, oh, I guess you'll settle kind of in the north here. Just okay, that's kind of painful. Like that eliminates a lot of my land, but okay. But it didn't. It didn't. It kept going south, and it kept going further south, and it went all the way down to then the waterfront, the most south it can go. Which, if you haven't played this game, Victoria was at the north. Okay, so she went the furthest south, and she settled her city. And guess what? It was her second city. So when she settled her second city, another settler spawned out. And that was going to be her third city. And so Victoria, currently in my game, is sitting on one city, has about 10 science a turn, has like 900 military strength. I don't know how the hell they have 900 military strength out of one city. That's very impressive. And they have just a settler somewhere in my land, because I don't want to go to war with Victoria because of her military strength. And it was just crazy, all because I didn't settle that one city in the chokehold. And I'm like, why is this happening? It was like just mind baffling, and it helped me a lot. So I got an extra city out of there. Then I went to war with China, and as I was going to war with China, I had to recruit a hero. We had Heroes and Legends turned on, and in my head, I had to make a game time audible. And this was a good decision, I think. Ironically, right before I said that the twins, I don't remember their names, but the twins, the Mayan twins, they're a terrible hero. I don't know why you would ever recruit this. 3 turns later, I had a big brain moment, thinking, I don't have much of a military. What if I recruited the twins and then not took over, but just went to war with the city-state, took over their units, made peace with them, and then used their units to go to China. It's basically a free levy, right? And so that's exactly what I did. I took over like 3 or 4 warriors out of Bologna. I made peace with them, and then I went to China. And then I surrounded their cities. The problem was China built walls. I had a battering ram, but China built walls, and it was attacking over a river. And so it wasn't the most ideal scenario. I was shooting it with archers. I was doing the best I can. And eventually China said, hey, do you want peace? And I was kind of curious, so I went into the deal screen. And I started offering cities. Or he started offering cities. I'm like, okay. So I click on every city. He doesn't want to take it. Okay, so I take one away. It's the one that's closest to me. The only one he won't give up is the one closest to me in his capital. So he's giving up all his other cities that are really far away from me. And I'm thinking that's pretty smart, actually, to kind of bait somebody into doing that, because it'll probably loyalty flip back. But I was way too determined in order for that to happen. So I took the deal. I took his 3 cities. All of them were loyalty flipping. I'm like, oh, crap, I need to do something. I built a government plaza, which gives +8 loyalty in one of those cities, and I chopped it out. I took one chop. That's all it took. And I had it. That was loyal. Great. Then I put Pingala in another city. That was loyal. Great. And then I put Victor in another city, and he also gives loyalty away from him on his first upgrade. All 3 of those cities are now very happily Scottish. And then ironically, I flipped another Chinese city because of it, because I had so many cities in one area. And so I took over 4 Chinese cities, 1 English city, and I settled 2 other ones. So I'm on 8 cities right now, with including my capital. And I took over literally 0 by force. Well, I mean, debatably, but so I'm set up really well on turn 100. The unfortunate thing is I have like 30 science per turn on turn 100. And I really need to develop my infrastructure. What were your yields like for both of you?
I lost the game, so 0.
You lost the game. You lost the game.
Okay, fair.
I don't think my science was terrible, but I think at least at like 30 or 40 by then. Not as good as some of the others.
You see PBs? Oh my god, dude.
He's playing right now. I'm sure it's insane.
Okay, when I checked on turn 150, he's on turn 150. He had 938 science per turn. And I was just thinking, what would that have possibly been on turn 100? That had to be at least like 300 science,
he's on
right?
turn 185, and his science is 2,839.
Jeez, guys, I'm sorry, but like, I think there might be a threshold for guests that we can have on the show. If you're too good, 2,000 science. I don't even know what like what?
That's a lot, dude. Yeah,
It's
that's
a lot of
crazy.
science. It's a lot of science. So
what are your plans though? What are you
okay,
like,
well, I saved it, but I think like in the interest of just keeping it interesting,
okay,
because I saved it at 103, I might reload at 103 just to try and be more.
that's a
Yeah,
save
by the way,
scum.
Where
That's a
you're at.
save
he's
scum,
on
dog.
he's on turn 185, and he has.
I can reload it at turn 130. That's not a problem.
Yeah, let's
I
do
was
130.
in a good position. I was in a good position.
So
Where's
I
PV
just
at? Sorry.
so just so you guys like, he's at turn 185, and he at least has the satellite launch because his map is completely revealed.
185. Okay.
Oh, he has like 5 spaceports. Okay, that's why.
so
wow.
back to us for a second, Nystagmus. No.
Yeah, you were about to say something.
I'll so at 130, I think I just declared peace with China. I had liberated Bologna. What I'm worried about though is I think I was building when I last left. I think it was a few turns from the Apidana. So clearly I
Really, that's still available for you?
Yeah, it was still
available.
Holy
crap, man.
So I think I want to, like, if my memory serves me, I need my city states. So now what I'm worried about is like Russia or England coming and taking out city states. Which I don't know. Whenever I play Russia, I find they always decimate city states. So, and Russia's big. Like, Russia's a big, as always, is a big contender.
I'm worried about Russia too, eventually.
So I'm thinking that I'll build that, but I will start building a military and know that I'm gonna have to defend these city states, if this is gonna pan out. I kind of really wish when I started playing, I was like, oh, chat, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get Himoko. And it's gonna be great. And I planned everything around getting her because I was the one that discovered her.
Oh, Himiko. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, some DB computer AI took
the
it.
+10 city strength, automatic levy to city state. Yeah.
The I wanted the 50 faith you got every time you got an envoy, right? So every envoy you get 50. So I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I got this golden age coming. I'm gonna have this massive expansion, and it's gonna be great. And then I have all these envoys. No, so they took it. So I think I had Arthur, and then I think my option was like Mulan and somebody else. You also went faith. I didn't go faith, right? You had.
I didn't get a religion. I didn't get it.
No, but you had faith. You had you were accumulating faith.
Yes, I have one holy site in my entire empire right now. So there's a plan for that. I think I'm eventually going to go for a culture victory, but I have one holy site. It's +8 adjacency because it's next to the wonder that we spawned to. It's on it's next to 4 mountains, and then it gets +3 from that wonder because it's a wonder, so it's +2, and then it gets an extra one. So it's +8 overall. It's that's maybe the only holy site I need for the whole game, and then I can just kind of go build a shrine, build a temple, and I'm good.
I tuned in. I didn't want to watch too much. I didn't want I was just on the bus and I was like, I'm gonna listen. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's actually good. Like having, especially if you want to be good at economy, you want all the economy, and faith is an economy, right?
Yeah.
And I regretted not going faith because faith's also how you recuperate your heroes. And a well-planned Arthur can be great. You can suddenly turn all those scouts into stuff. I didn't realize with Arthur that he disintegrates them when they're done.
Really? You didn't know that?
I didn't realize that.
Oh,
I thought I thought it was like they morph and then they
It's morphin' time.
Yeah, I thought they were like werewolves or something, but they're not. They're not werewolves. They go away. So you obviously have to get the most out of that assault. So yeah, it's weird. It's I think one thing I noted though too, VektorKat it's a 4-point bonus if you never go into a dark age.
Yeah.
But then he had dramatic age is optional, and it's like, come on, there's got to be something in there that because I think it's easy to stay out of a dark age if you're just playing normal game.
No. I think it's easy to stay out of dark age if you're playing dramatic ages, because you get a point for every tech in Civic, and the threshold's lower. And the threshold's lower.
I don't know. I never had a problem staying at a dark age before, and I think I did have a dark age. I think I'm living in a dark age when I left the game. So if you can not go in a dark age, but if you go in a dark age, your empire is going to go.
I'm going to implode in myself.
Fall apart if you go into a dark age.
Oh yeah.
My dark age, I lost my 2 furthest cities from me, and then I realized I could not take back the one city I conquered. Woohoo! That it would flip every time in 3 turns, and I was like, all right, no. So I'll probably raise that one and just have a buffer between me and China. But I think China had 2 in a row when I left the game, and most of China was like in revolution. So China's essentially this independent state, which I thought was kind of funny. So yeah, this is cool, guys. I like the obviously it won't, although it might be. Unfortunately, our brand new solo may turn into what's VektorKat got cooked up for us this week. Which is fine
for now. And then if you finish the game, then you can kind of do whatever you want.
It's all of us. It's all of us. We're all doing it now. We're all
every streamer's doing it. It's so crazy. It's awesome. So I love it.
When this, if the Civ show, if we could figure out a way to imagine pull off at different perspectives with 9 streamers,
that's what I said not too long ago, man.
We need help.
I would need help for sure.
That would be No, we're a team. I'd be there to help coordinate. I wouldn't touch.
We would need help for sure.
We would need help. Editors watching.
Someone edits it.
The podcast. If you want to help us with editing,
I have ideas that I actually want to implement with you guys first, of how to make it more efficient, and then if that's successful, I can then say to the others, hey, let's start featuring guests, right? So that we can start to include a little bit more, see if that method works, and then eventually we can have a 9-player one where it's 9 different perspectives, which it's such a long video, but it'd be insane.
It would be really it'd take some time to do. Now, what I thought, I was just thinking this the other day, because we were talking, we were like, what if we could do our own challenges, or what if VektorKat issued us a challenge where it was for the 3 of us, right? Where it's on a map that he's designed and doing everything he does. He tells us what civ we are. He sets it up the exact way that he's going to set it up. Usually we each have a natural wonder or something like that. He tells us, and we each get our own card and go.
He just said that in chat. Right before you started talking about it, he just said that in chat.
Me and VektorKat have this weird thing. We have this weird connection.
Now, we don't want to go too far, because on my solo stream, I also wanted to do a couple little fun things I wanted to do.
No. That's your decision. That's Monday.
I know.
Whatever. Mondays suck. I'm kidding.
I'm saying for Sunday. Before we start getting our guest roster, I think that'd be really cool. A vector challenge, and it could be we agree that all right, we'll play this out a little bit, and it would be if Vektor wanted it to be a speed, I'd do it for him. If he wanted it to be standard speed, I don't know. Might be something to ask the community if they'd enjoy that, because it might be a 2 or 3 parter.
Yeah.
Us doing something like that. But you had mentioned, Moy, having that we were all the same civ, so I guess in a way we could also just do that one day.
I really want to do that, man.
He has the same starting position.
Yeah. I mean, if we all play the same civ, we all have different starting positions, but at least we all have the same toolkit. We all have the same we all would have to go in with the same game plan. I'm going to build this, then I'm going to build this, then I'm going to build this. All Eleanors? My god! It's just whoever gets the most great work, whoever gets the most great people.
Yeah, so Moy wins, because me and the Stagmas don't touch culture victory with a 10-foot clown pole most of the time.
I don't even think I'd win. I don't even know it that well. That's the thing. Maybe out of you guys, I'm the expert, but in the grand scheme of things, I suck. So you don't have to. Every time. It's so good.
Every time. Every time.
Every time.
It would
By
just
the
be
way,
a
it looks
matter
like
of what we do it for what Civ would we do it for? What would be the most entertaining?
I looking over at PB stream. I think he's gonna get a sub 200 victory.
For science, that's insane,
Yeah.
man. Sub 200
Wow.
science is insane. On
He's
standard
got,
speed.
Yeah.
Wow.
How
It
long
looks
has he been
like it. I
playing,
think he's
though?
gonna do it. I'd bet
Did he
money
just
right
start
now, right?
that today?
I don't know. I have
Let's
no idea.
let's just on the podcast talk about PB's game, and we'll watch him play. I'm like, he's got advanced tech and the whole map, and
I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna get sub 100. It looks like it's 9 turns away,
Okay,
and
I gotta look. I gotta look.
He's at turn 189. Yeah.
This is where we're gonna cut the recording. Okay, we're gonna hold on. We're gonna take a look at PB right now. What is he at? Turn 189, and he's got future tech. But where is he in terms of his production? And like, oh, he's building builders.
The exoplanet's already been sent.
Oh man. Okay.
He's just doing things to speed it up. You know how you can do like that laser satellite thing?
Yeah. That is like the most clutch thing you can do, man.
Look at the size of that empire. He's gone like way down. I haven't even touched that area. Maybe I should, maybe I should expand into the southeastern lands.
Yeah, I haven't even, like, I'm looking, I'm like, wow, Russia's there? I'm like, I didn't even go there. I don't even know where that is.
I'm worried about Russia, because if you just leave Russia alone, like,
scary.
They get really scary. So I don't know, maybe that's a word to the wise, is that we should worry about Russia here because of what PB told us.
Anyways, is there anything else that you guys want to mention?
I guess like I wouldn't mind if we could have said what we wanted to play for Sunday, but I guess we can announce that on Sunday.
Well, do we have any? Well, I have my idea. You already know my idea, right?
Everyone being the same.
Everyone plays the same one. Yeah,
I'm down with that as long as we can figure out a fun, engaging way to choose the Civ, or we just choose one, or we just be all Rome. I don't know.
I was thinking we can all be Babylon.
Ooh, I'll be Babylon. That's interesting.
Or we can, what?
I think that might be really interesting. I'll be Babylon.
Yeah. Or what's another really fun Civ? I don't want to say Russia, because basically whoever gets a religion first wins. So I think Babylon is like a pretty good one.
Whoever starts in Tundra wins with Russia.
That's true.
Actually, yeah. All of us being Grand Colombia could be fun. Because we'll all be able to chase each other
all
around.
of us being Macedonia. That would be sick. Because no war weariness. We all go to war Zulu. On turn 1.
If we were all the Zulu, we'd all, because we had, like, medieval is about where we're at our peak, right? Medieval Renaissance.
But classical is like it's guaranteed to be in there, guaranteed
maybe
to get those Alexander units.
What if we narrowed it down to say 5 and promoted that, pre-show we'll do a poll. So be there, join us for the pre-show. We'll do the poll, and we'll decide, like, we'll choose our map first, so we don't have, like, we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll draft and see. We'll choose our 5 civs. So why don't we do something like that? Or
so let's say Babylon's included for sure, and then we all choose one, and then a community can choose one.
I got no objection to Babylon. I think Eleanor would be funny. I think Zulu would be funny. So there's 3 right there.
I want Macedonia in there, man.
Okay, I have no objections to Macedonia, and Nystagmus choose the 5th one.
Well, what are the ones you've chosen so far?
So we got here. I'll write them down as
Macedonia. We have Babylon, Eleanor, and Zulu.
Macedonia. We got Zulu.
Groovy Feet saying Coupe.
Eleanor. Yeah, that could be funny if
I'm gonna go with that Coupe.
Coupe on Fractal or Continents and Islands. That would be hilarious.
That is it. There we go. So maybe the order will go is we'll do the poll first, and then we'll do the random selection of the island, or the land, so that we can like, be like, no, because if it's Coupe on like a Pangea or like on Highlands, it'll be like, oh. It'd be terrible.
Yeah, and as VektorKat says, speaking of Macedon, VektorKat and I, we did his podcast today.
Tell us about that. Tell us a little bit about that.
How'd that go?
That went great. It was fun time. Fun couple hours. I think
is it released?
Yeah, it's released.
Nice. Okay.
What was it on?
It's on Spotify. We can VektorKat. You can rep it in the chat.
Like, what was the
no? You're on the podcast right now, Nestag. You gotta rep it.
No, but I meant in the chat, so he knows the link. I don't know the link.
Okay.
I've never been invited to a podcast by VektorKat or anyone else, for that matter, so I wouldn't know the experience.
So he's kind of doing a new series where he's talking about the A to Z, or A to Z if you're Canadian, leaders, and he started with Alexander. So we chatted about Alexander the Great today, so kind of talking about the historical perspective, making the connections back to like this.
I see.
Yeah,
I'm not good
facts,
with facts.
and chatting about that. So we had a pretty good conversation about that.
Strong opinions, though. I can do that. I can give you a strong opinion.
VektorKat's podcast, like he'll talk about anything. So like with Nystagmus, since Nystagmus is kind of like the factual, he'll talk about facts. When I was on his podcast, I just talked about Civ. Right, and I talked about the Civ show a little bit as well. I'm sure you'll probably get a very similar.
Sounds like a good golly awful lot of fun. You guys going on this podcast. It's I'll just probably stare at my wall and wait till the next Civ show comes on.
Speaking of staring at a wall, PB just won, apparently.
Yay, PB!
Turn 1. I don't know what turn.
If he raids us, we'll have to stay on and keep talking. He won't raid us.
No.
So that's what it was called, because VektorKat just shared it in chat. It's called Leader of the Week. That's what he's calling it. Yeah.
Leader of the Week.
Alexander the Great's the first one.
There you go. That's cool. That's very, very cool. All right. Well, I think we got our subject for Sunday. So that's exciting. We got Nystagmus is going to have this podcast coming out soon. That's exciting. Peppermint Butler just won the challenge and the $10,000 cash prize that VektorKat was
$10,000 cash prize.
That's exciting. You surely heard of the $10,000 cash prize.
What?
I know. I was like, VektorKat, that seems a little much, but you heard it here. Legally binding, I think. So, and this will be interesting. Macedonia, Babylon, Zulu, Eleanor, Coupe. One of those civs is not like the other, because we're going to all be whichever one we draw. That almost rhymed. So that's fantastic. I think, though, that's it for today, right, boys?
If you haven't already followed us on Twitter, you definitely should. Why? Because we post really good memes, fantastic memes. We also post updates on the Civ Show and on Civilization in general. So if you want to keep up to date with us and want to keep up to date with what's happening in the world of Civ 6, Twitter is where you should follow us at the Civ Show.
It's true. What was that other comment you had to make, Nystagmus?
And if you'd like to check out some of our other content, we do have a YouTube channel as well. By the way, help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We're about like 10 away, I think. So definitely hit that subscribe button and ring that bell.
Ring that bell.
You could be the 1,000th subscriber.
Okay,
just go do it.
Boy, yeah, you were like gesturing.
Oh, like yeah, go.
I was wondering if you wanted to say something. We do a bunch of
balloon. Come down.
Yeah.
1,000.
We do a bunch of other content, so we also make videos. So much like how VektorKat is doing the Leader of the Week, I do a Better Know a Leader series where I talk about the leaders of the Civilization series as well. I've done 4 so far. I have one on the way as well. Zoe does his Raising Reviews, and we also have the Civ from different perspectives, which video 1 was quite popular. We're going to have a video 2 coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that.
97.
Remember to subscribe, ring the bell next to the subscribe button that lets you know when a new video is uploaded, and definitely check out that content.
And Zoe, where can they find us daily?
Daily Moy, it's an excellent question. Join us on our Discord where you can have the more intimate connection with the Civ Show. Yes, it's on our Discord where we join on a daily basis discussing everything from the most recent pet picks to whatever else chaos is going on in the world and even some civilization. It's where the best Civ community in the civilization universe meets to gather, to chat, to share. Join us on our Discord. And of course, join us on Sunday when we do this amazing Everybody Be the Same Guy Civ. So excellent. So Raising Zozo saying goodbye. Say goodbye, boys.
See you later. Bye. Have a good night.
Good night.
See you on Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, you're not going to finish that line?
If you're not there, you better be dead.
There you go. All right. Okay.